How long is this going to go on for? Don't you hate waiting? Waiting for people to get back to our texts, waiting for that tiny little bubble, waiting in lineups. I was on a Zoom call the other night with a couple of guys from different generations. And one of them, a grandfather who grew up in England, said, I can remember as a kid, not just wondering when the war was going to end, but if it was going to ever end. Another one wondering how long this was going to last because he's had to lay off several employees from his company. Two of us wondering because we've got family weddings that are planned for this summer. This pandemic is affecting us all, but in different ways. I heard someone say the other day, we're all in the same boat. And actually, that's not true. We're all in the same storm, but we're not in the same boat. Some people are sailing through this storm and they're sailing in a yacht. They've got enough money, they've got a secure job, nice house, and they're sailing through this in a yacht. Others are in a rowboat, and they live month to month with their rent, and being out of work is a disaster. And other people are feeling like they're just hanging on to a piece of driftwood. And to go one step further, each of us have come into this crisis with different levels of emotional and physical, financial, relational and spiritual reserves. And if you had a lot of reserves built up before we entered into this crisis, then you're probably doing okay, right now. And the truth is, some of you entered this crisis with nothing in your tank. And you were already drained before this happened. And I want you to know that I care about you. I really do. And that's one of the reasons why I've recorded this video. And so do others in your life and your church community. And we want to help each other get through this difficult time. Can I encourage you to read Psalm 13 sometime? It's short, 6 verses, because we're not the first generation to have to wait. The first 2 words of the psalm are, "How long, God? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts?" Read the psalm. I learned 2 things from this guy. The first was to be honest. Be honest. God, it just feels like you could, but you're not. It feels like you're hiding from me, not paying attention to me. It just feels like I'm looking at the back of your head. I'm wrestling with my thoughts day after day. We can be honest with God and with others and invite Him into our situation. But then the psalm pivots. That's such a hot word these days. We hear, how's your business going to pivot? How are your students? How is your church going to pivot this crisis? Everything in the psalmist's heart and mind pivots when he says, "But I trust in your unfailing love. You have been good to me." Think for a moment of how God has been so faithful in our lives. Material blessings. A bed to sleep in, shelter, a roof over our head, clothes and shoes to wear, transportation, medical care, food. What about relational blessings? Family, friends, church family, Christian brothers and sisters, and we could go on and on. I find myself saying, God, when I look at how good and how faithful you have been to me over the course of my life this far, how unfailing your love is, how on earth why would I doubt or think that you would cease to be that way to me in the future? You are completely faithful and you never change. That's the pivot point. That's where the change begins, when we remind ourselves of this.
I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God.